Won't fix the ramp, but give me the ability to close it? Okay then. TLDR used the company's health and safety rules against them to make them spend $7,000 fixing a ramp they really didn't want to fix. A bit of a long read. But there's a bit of context. A few years ago I ended up working at a remote work site. The crew I worked with had multiple jobs, one of which was unloading the truck that came in once a week with all of the site's food. The unloading area was at the back of the kitchen and hadn't been designed well originally. It was an uneven gravel ramp that led up to a roughly 4 feet loading dock. In an ideal world, the truck would be able to back up to the loading dock and the job would be reasonably easy. However, the ramp also wasn't very wide. There was a dogleg in the run-up to it. And also the truck would be at an angle, so moving the pallets of food would be tough. So the workaround was to have a forklift take the food from the truck, drive up the gravel ramp, and drop the food on the dock. When I first got there, we had a forklift operator who had worked with a forklift for years. He was good. Like really good. He made it seem easy. This wasn't my first job working around forklifts. And I really appreciated how good this guy was. I'm not sure many others, especially management, realized that he made this short but tricky run in the forklift look way easier than it actually was. He left, and management scrambled to get another guy licensed to drive the forklift. This guy didn't have the experience, and he struggled. He lost a load off his forks at one point. And it was kinda scary. He was a yes man, and there wasn't many other options. So he persevered. A lot of us were worried it was just a matter of time before he tipped the forklift over the edge of the ramp. The solution would have been to redesign the ramp, or at least pave it. The gravel was a large part of the problem. It was a little thick, so the tires would spin a bit off kilter, and it would develop potholes. The forklift needed to get a run-up to carry speed up this ramp. That's how bad it was. We complained, but the company didn't want to do anything because they were building a new kitchen on the other side of the camp, so this one was going to be decommissioned. However, there had been zero work done on the new kitchen in the 3 to 4 months I'd been there. This remote site was in Australia, and they have some pretty strict health and safety laws there. Companies will often have you fill out cards every day of what we saw that was maybe dangerous. I filled out one for this ramp every single week we had to use it. But they didn't do anything. The system was really there to cover themselves. I.e., you knew it was dangerous. It says it here on the card. So why did you keep doing the thing? While also expecting us to keep doing the thing. How else were we going to get the food inside? However, one of the other rules pretty much gave the right for any employer to tag out something that isn't safe. The company can't overrule this, as if they do then something happens. It's on them. These tags are normally used with machinery, i.e. the machine is broken. Can't be used until it's fixed. The tag-out system is not really designed for an area. Cue malicious compliance. The ramp is broken, dangerous. I decided I'm going to tag it out. I collected some cones and ropes, and tagged it out. Went straight into the office to tell management what I did. Their faces were priceless. They had a week to come up with a solution as I did this immediately after we'd unloaded the weekly food drop. At first they told us that from now on we'd have to walk the boxes of food up to the storage areas. This was obviously an attempt to turn the other crew members on me. However, the cooks stopped that idea dead. The weather was hot. The majority of the food was chilled or frozen. We were only so many. There would have been a lot of food waste. So after a day or so they got to work putting in a paved path for the forklift. It was the bare minimum they would do, because they were building a new kitchen. but apparently it cost them $7,000. And pulled guys away from other duties to do it. Needless to say, I was not a popular person. And I heard that some of management wanted to fire me. But there wasn't anything they could do. I left 2 months later anyway. You never have to fire good and competent people. They leave on their own after dealing with the shit show for a certain amount of time. As a safety professional, you rock. Nicely done. The life you save may be your own. Ferengi Rule of Acquisition number 89. Quote, "It is better to lose some profit and live than lose all profit and die." Yeah. OSH rules, mate. That act has a lot of power in its little pinky. Was an OSH representative before. Our pan Santiger was not closing properly. Solution was to shoulder check, kick it close. I tag it. Came back an hour later. Tag removed. Had a written note. Parts not available for 4 weeks. Used as before. Oh hell no. OSH helpline. 2 officially sanctioned investigators came. They made a beeline to me as the local representative on the floor. Manager goes, "Op is busy. I can have a chat." OSH reps, "We don't want you. We want Op. Op is OSH representative that is registered on the board." Can you believe it? New Santiger came in 3 days. Was installed and working perfectly. During those 3 days, we actually had an orderly assigned to stand beside the sanitizer to run bottles and pans to be sanitized on another floor. Who would have think that? Also in Australia. Only the most truly committed manglement types could see a gravel, dog-legged loading ramp as safe. Does anyone else think that? When management is bad, the only way that things get done is when someone, on the way out of the company, forces management to do it? Sounds like the mines I work on. Pilbara. None of what you describe surprises me. There was a need for a new rubbish truck. The possibility of getting a better, more user-friendly from a work safety perspective was not chosen. Loading of rubbish bags by hand. The alternative that had safety and possible back injury issues was chosen. It was cheaper, of course. Not sure how I got this username for what it's worth. You. Hey boss, this is unsafe and could get someone seriously injured. Boss. I hate you. It's fun to compare Australian and US OSHA with each other. US. Limit liability. Australia. Let's first apply some common sense. Then check what's viable. Then make sure the involved parties know their responsibilities. If they didn't know their responsibilities, the employer is responsible by default. Having worked with Australian film crews, it's sometimes hilarious how they're required to provide a power outlet on a remote beach to charge your personal devices, or access to toilets in remote areas where you just put your business on a lone 1,000 kilometers. 2. Sand patch. Fuck it. Should've just called work cover. I delivered there. And the dangerous shit they have to do to get the job done, mate. And had them done. I had a couple of macas I worked at sort the rubbish rooms with that old chestnut. Seems to me the most dangerous things on your site were the management, and you should have tagged them and told them to get the hell out until they were no longer a danger to the people doing actual work. Was expecting you to drive a Lionel up in there. Ah, Straya. Land of the free. Idiot managers.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.